What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Mask of Mr. Fuentes. I'm one of your hosts, Steven Franco, with the men of the hour, the man, the myth, the legend, the bald-headed, bearded, sexy beast, Mr. Fuentes.
Dang, you have a lot of energy all of a sudden. All right. Yes, sir. I'm back and I am here for another episode. What are we doing for this one?
We are doing opinions. This is, I don't know what episode this is, but this is track number 9.
Track number 9 on the album Sneak Peek that is out now. If you haven't heard, so go check it out on all streaming platforms. Sneak Peek. But yeah, no, this is number 9 on the album. Definitely, I definitely wouldn't call this my favorite track of the album, but I definitely would think that it's all right. It's an all right track of the album.
It is indeed a track that is on your album. That is a list that you're able to listen to on all streaming platforms. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think you played this live for a few concerts already before it came out. I didn't really care for it. I didn't like it. And then it's released. It came out. Or you gave me the album before, and I was like, you know what? This is indeed a song on his album. And then we started. Yeah, I think we already let it out. There's gonna be an Opinions music video.
Yeah.
Which I recorded for you.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to it multiple times for multiple takes. You would think would drive a man crazy because it's his least favorite. Somehow, some way, it became one of my favorites. I don't know how. Man. I don't know why. I think you're okay. You're not unfrozen, but yeah, it became one of my favorites now.
Yeah, no. I think to me, this song is probably the only song on the entire album that I kind of feel is like, I would say is like raw hip hop feel and sound, like the bars that I do. The beat, everything, my delivery, I feel like it's probably the most raw hip hop feeling song I have. Like every other song, I don't know, it kind of gives me an old school feel when an old school kind of rap style when I hear it. This song, so I kind of enjoy it because of that, because I like old school rap. But yeah, no, it's a track that's on my album.
That is available everywhere on streaming platforms.
That it is available for your listening.
For your listening ear holes.
Yeah. But if you want, we could just kind of jump into it. The beat was made by Kato on the track.
Who's featured 10 times on this album.
I think he's like six tracks on this album.
But Opinions, where does it chronologically? How long were you sitting on this track, pretty much?
For a while, probably like early 2000, probably early 2000s. Yeah, no, early, probably late 2019, early 2020.
Early 2000.
Early 2000s, right?
20 years.
Whenever Backstreet Boys was coming out, I was like getting this done.
They weren't ready for it. They still weren't, but you released it.
Yeah.
Before we jump into it, you do have a skit that we really don't talk about, honestly. And a skit coming into it before it. So I'll play the skit.
All right.
I gotta get the news on. Gotta find out what's going on in the world.
Today on the news, we'll be covering Homoerotica, the new iPhone Pi Squared Max, and is Justin Breather really a lizard person?
I think
Stay tuned for the News Time Hotline at 9, where we never check our sources.
Yeah.
I'm Jack Mehoff, and before we get into anything else, this just in.
That's what he told her.
We have news from the CDC on a new virus.
Ooh.
As if COVID, monkeypox, and artificial intelligence isn't scary enough, we have a new sickness spreading. DB syndrome. let's go to our in-house medical professional, Dr. Pat McCrotch, for the scoop.
This is a local news broadcast brought to you by Absolute Kings. This is an emergency announcement. There has been a number of reports of DB outbreaks in the southern region of Texas. This is a disease, is very contagious, and everyone should take extreme caution. The most common and frequent symptoms are irrational anger spasms, problem-solving simple tasks, and incompetence at work or daily activities.
That sounds like me.
Although the symptoms are not always visible, a simple test can be performed by taking the nearest sharp object and inserting it into your anus.
Well, I got these scissors here. Let me just...
If you have run the test, you should have surely known by now whether you have contracted DB syndrome.
My butthole is bleeding. Why? I'm such a dumb bitch.
Before we talk about
I gotta get the news on.
You don't really see skits much on people's albums anymore. On Leftover Pizza, you had skits. On this one, you had skits. I can't remember if you had any on Smile and Wave. But what?
Not really.
What? Why do you have skits? What makes you like still want to have skits on your albums?
Well, growing up, everything had skits. You know, all the people I used to listen to. You know, Eminem, Tech Nine. Not really Tech Nine as much, but ICP, Twisted. You know, a lot of the people I grew up listening to had skits on their album. And for me, it makes more sense to have skits, I think, than probably any other artist, is because like everyone always considers my music comedy anyway. So just having like skits with like trying to put little comedy bits in between, I think just fits my character as Mr. Fuentes. That's pretty much it.
This one gave very Ken Kniff vibes from Eminem.
Yeah.
Was that an influence for it?
Honestly, I was just like, dude, I need to get this album done. And all I had actually was the ending part with the other guy talking. That's all I had recorded. And that was recorded, it's like so long ago, like 2010, dude. Like this is something that got recorded like when I was like 21 or 22 years old. But we're just fucking around. Like I didn't even plan to release it. And I was like randomly going through all my old archives of like stuff. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot all about this. I was like, I should add it as a skit. Like it'd be funny. And then the more I listened to it, I was like, man, it just kind of sounds like weird to just like throw it in without any like extra context or anything. So then I was like sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, oh, you know, what if it's like a news broadcast, you know, because he's already saying like this is from Absolute King. So pretty much in that, like in an hour time frame, like I went and found the newscaster music. I wrote the lines that I was going to do. And then the first voice that came to my mind for like, I was just kind of thinking of like, honestly, like some kind of like, just like redneck guy in his house or something like that. Just like somebody who just sits in front of his TV all day and just watches like news shit. So I was just like, okay. And I don't know why that's the first voice that came to my head. And I was just like, all right, we're rolling with it. And yeah, I think it worked in the end.
It worked. It's it's my favorite skit actually on there. But that leads into opinions, which I think is a perfect segue into it.
I think so too.
My daughter's just putting stuff in my hair. But I guess we get into it.
Now introducing the amazing, the fabulous, the stupendous, the Egg McMuffin of rappers, Mr. Soul Fuentes.
No more introductions. You better know who I is when I speak on percussion. Main topic of discussion. Yeah, I'm coming for your dinner. Better start secret luncheons. Cause I'm hungry, straight famished. My style, outlandish. You can't can this crazy rap bandit because hustle, my rhyme is as beat as a canvas. I'm coming here to get it better. Listen when I spit it, cause I murder everything and everything will get acquitted. Got the constipated rap. Yeah, really, no shit. And don't really give a shit of what you think about my writtens. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Did you pause it?
My bad. I know you want me to stop it at, so I stopped right there.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, no, I like. I think I like this the most. I feel like I do a lot more of my, my cockier / metaphors on here a lot more. Also, this part right here, my style outlandish. You can't can this. You can't can this crazy rap bandit. That was a direct like homage kind of like thing to that. Back that ass up. You can't stand it. Straight bandit. Outland. So we can't can this crazy. My style outlandish. You can't can this crazy rap. Is like a direct little like flow from that song. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then the got this constipated rap. Yeah, really, no shitting. I thought that was hilarious whenever I came up with that. And then don't really give a shit at what you think about my writtens. I thought the metaphors were pretty solid.
Pretty top notch.
They make me laugh at least.
Coming off, I'm coming more harder than a final boss. Or I heard you got your toys or your Barbie dolls. Bitch, I got big balls to show at Mardi Gras. Yabba dabba dia. Rap nowadays are just automatopoeias. Yeah, a little bit of that. Is this what it's really come down to in rap? I'm an intellectual, my rapping is a spectacle. But things I'm hearing nowadays, it really makes me lose a cool. I'm aiming at the ventricle, these rapping homosexuals. These mama rappers sounding like the goblins of testicles. But that's just my opinion. Who gives a shit about opinions? Everyone. People say you're dumb or you're ignorant. If you disagree just a little bit, don't give a fuck about opinions. Yep, opinions get shit on. You could be right all along, and someone out there will still say you're wrong. For sure. What happened?
The same. I think like the quality of my stuff it's fun. Because like in rap, everyone's always acting hard, so it's just like, got it. I heard you got your toys, like everyone has guns. Oh, your Barbie dolls? Bitch, I got big balls to show at Mardi Gras. At the time of me like writing this, I believe it was like the era where everything was like going on, and the mumble rappers were higher than they are now. I actually was a little like, whenever I thought about when this was getting released, I was like, man, that mumble rap kind of era really like died down a bit. I was like, man, I don't even know if that makes sense nowadays, but I was like, whatever, it's already made.
Hopefully no one thinks you're dissing what is it, your fave ex-boyfriend?
Well, I didn't say
You said it first.
But yeah, no, I mean, automatopoeias. I guess that's true. But no, I made this like a long time ago, so take it as you will, I guess. I
like the hook.
And just my opinion. Shit, don't give a shit about opinion. Who gives a shit about opinions? I actually changed it. These two lines, because originally I think it was, but that's just my opinion. Who gives a shit about opinions? Something like they're black and white like a penguin. Everybody gets offended. I think that's what it was. They're black and white like a penguin. Everybody gets offended. And then I just did not like it. I don't know. I hated it. I hated the black and white like a penguin line. And I was just like, man, I have to do something different. And I changed it to this, and I feel better about it. But yeah, the hook, nothing special. Can't tell you that it was something crazy that I came up with. It was just pretty straightforward. Who gives a shit about opinions?
Again, did you write the hook first or did you write a verse first?
I think on this one I actually wrote the first verse first. And then came up with the hook.
To the real deals. All I hear is all these kids talking about all their fake meals. Bitch, I got real bills, and they piling to the ceiling make me wanna rob a bank till. Oh, it's cool you pop pills? When life be getting too real, you have to have a cheap thrill. And I know it's a Texas thing, but fuck Lane, it's the reason Texas rappers getting killed. Whatever, I'm not a role model. Live life a full throttle has always been my motto. But if you're feeling like you're stuck, washed up and out of luck, here's some words with me that suck. Cut it out, you stupid fuck. Maybe I'm a hater, flipping on my peers just like I'm Darth Vader. But I'm in the game now, so I'm not a spectator. So I'm snapping at these hoes, Will Ferrell call me Gator. Is it wrong that I want the game to elevate, to put some soul in the music they create? I want rap to be great, but the shit that I'm hearing got me feeling irate. History repeats, same song I used to listen to, but to a different beat. So why do I feel they're inferior in skill? And every time I hear them, all I want to do is kill. But that's just...
There's a lot going on in that verse to unpack. So whenever I was writing this, I had already wrote the hook. It's an opinion. So I started thinking about a bunch of like things that I could be opinionated about. And I again, it was one of those things where I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, okay, well, right now, because I just got off of talking about these kids, and obviously me as an artist, like I honestly don't care when someone blows up, even if I don't like their music personally, because I know there's a lot of back end work that goes into being an artist, period. Even if it's not something I particularly like, I know these people are working hard at their craft. Either it's video, social media, marketing, whatever they're doing to get out there. So I never really care to be particular on anyone that blows up because, a lot of these people have been working at this for a pretty long time. Some people get lucky and, they put out something and it just happens to pop off. But most of the time, a lot of people are putting in a lot of work. But I was on the topic of these kids, and at the time, I think, I don't listen to their music. It's just what I hear. But like, Lil Xan, Lil Peep, and all the people, they were highly, advising, like not advising, but that they would pop pills and they would do that. And all these people were always talking about doing things like that. And I was just like, man, that's kind of a really, shitty kind of, I don't want to say role model, but kind of impression to give to kids because that's who's listening to this shit is kids. So I was just kind of like, that was my opinion on it. It was just like, oh, it's cool you pop pills. Like, instead of actually trying to get some help in your life, you're just going to, mask it with drugs. Like, that's cool, man. When life be getting too real, you have to have a cheap thrill. And then the Texas thing, people, a lot of the Texas rappers were dying. Pimp C had died because of a codeine overdose on lean. And I was just like, man, like, fuck that shit. That shit sucks. Like, even nowadays, a lot of the rappers that were promoting it back in the day have like since then backed up and said, oh yeah, I don't promote this no more. Like, it's not a good lifestyle, basically. But there is a part in here that I don't think really kind of gets the point's not really across because I didn't really have enough room to talk about it, because I feel like sometimes I feel like and when I make songs, like I have to try to touch on them and just hope people understand, because if I were to really unpack the entire thought, it would just take up too much space and then it would just sound like I'm rambling, in a song. But that last part where I put like history repeats, same song I used to listen to, but to a different beat. It basically my take that, all the music you really listen to, the subject matter is pretty much always the same. The only thing that changes is the way someone either says it or the beat that's being used for it. Like, it's always the same shit. You're making a song about shaking ass. You can hear a shaking ass song, back from the 2000s, shaking ass song from 2010 and now, and they're all going to sound different, but they're all going to be about shaking ass. Like, so that's kind of what I'm trying to say right there is like history repeats. You're making the same song that I made or that someone else made already, the same song I used to listen to, but it's to a different beat and to a different flow. And so it's kind of like what I'm trying to say there is like, why do I feel you're inferior in skill? Like everything I hear, I don't like. It's just like, I hate that. Sometimes I don't like some of the stuff that comes out. But then it's probably just old man syndrome. You're just like, oh, these god-flabbing kids and their new age beat bopping and heat popping. I don't know. Or maybe it just all sucks. I don't know.
All music sucks all the time.
Yeah. I thought, and then just to kind of touch on it, I thought this line was fun. Like, maybe I'm a hater, switching on my peers just like I'm Darth Vader. Like I'm feeling.
I always thought I was flipping on my peers like I'm Darth Vader, and I was like, that flipping. What did he do? What do you mean? But now it's switching. I'm like, okay, now I understand.
Or flipping, I think it's actually what I say. Flipping on my peers. That may be what I say. But what I mean, because Darth Vader was good, then he goes bad. So I'm flipping on my peers. But I'm in the game now, so I'm not a spectator, basically. Like, because that's what people always say. Like, oh, if you could do it better than you do it. Like, like when people talk about sports and shit, like, oh, that people sucked, and you always get down to that. Well, if you could do it better, then why don't you? And it's just like, well, fuck. I guess I will. I'm not a spectator no more in rap. I'm actually a rapper. So now, fuck y'all. Like, if I think you suck, you suck. But it's just my opinion. It's whatever. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. And then I guess we can finish off the song.
Is it wrong that I want the game to elevate, put some soul in the music? Great, I want to rap be great, but the shit that I'm hearing feeling irate.
Got me feeling irate.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines.
My opinion. Who gives a shit about opinions? Everyone. People say you're dumb or you're ignorant. Every time. If you disagree just a little bit, don't give a fuck about opinions. Yep. Opinions get shit on. You could be right all along, and someone out there will still say you're wrong. For sure. So go ahead, have your opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Most of the time, they're full of shit.
Opinions are also not like assholes, because they can change. Whereas you will always be an asshole.
Opinions are important, they're a part of evolution. It helps connect the dots between what's true and what's delusion. If you don't like my opinion, eat the shit that you're producing. I'm the greatest rapper alive in the song, that's my conclusion.
I like that you switched it up on opinions are like assholes, because everybody uses that line that everybody has one.
Mm-hmm.
I like that you switched it up to they're full of shit.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I thought. I was just like, everyone says that line all the time. Like, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. And I was just like, nah, they're just full of shit, man. I think it was you that mentioned it, or maybe it was one of my other friends that mentioned, like, they're like, man, your ending of that song always gets me because you're like getting it, and then you're like, that's it, it's done. I remember Peanut had told me that. He's like, man, it's kind of weird how that song ends, but yeah, I get it. And someone else more recently had said something like, man, you really got me because you're like going. I thought that was the third verse. And then all of a sudden you're just like, that's it. That's my conclusion. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what to put there. Actually, I really like this line a lot. Like, opinions are important. They're a part of evolution. It helps connect the dots between what's true and what's illusion. Because I remember hearing that before, that like you have to let people talk out their opinions amongst each other, because if you don't, even bad ones, bad and good ones, like bad opinions and good opinions, because if you don't, then you're always going to be stuck with those opinions and no other perspective of like what the world is like for other people besides yourself. because you're always going to have your perspective on the world until someone gives you their perspective. Obviously, you can still choose whether their perspective is right or wrong in your eyes, but it's really important to just let people talk their opinions, even if they're bad ones, because also in society, I don't want to say we grade people, but we kind of like grade people in a sense based on their opinions. So you kind of know, is this person kind of a trashy person that I don't want to maybe associate myself with, or is he a good person, or maybe his opinion, like I see why he has that. You understand the people better, I think, because sometimes I feel like that happens a lot. Someone has a certain opinion about some subject, but they don't get the opportunity to like fully explain why they said something they said. And when they fully explain it, it's like, oh, okay, well, okay, that makes a lot more sense. I thought you meant this. So I really to me, that I thought that was always really, really like, it was a really fun line to put in there, because to me, it's so true. Like, everyone should have their own opinions, and everyone should be able to speak their opinions. But you also have to remember that you're responsible for everything that comes out of your mouth. So if you're going to have an opinion, make sure it's one that you're going to stand by, because you're going to have to take responsibility for that opinion that comes out of your mouth. And then the ending, it's just like, I'm the greatest rapper alive. End the song. It's my conclusion. It's just my opinion, man.
My opinion is this song is much better now than it was whenever I first listened to it.
Hell yeah. It's a fun little song too. Like, it's not like, it's a song that you can stream on my
It's the thing that I can't control it, but can you go all the way up?
Oh, yeah. To the very top?
Yeah. The one thing I hate, I don't hate, but the one thing that you do a lot is now introducing Egg Muffin, Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Saul Fuentes, Mr. Saul Fuentes, introducing Mr. Fuentes. Hey guys, Mr. Fuentes. Like, well, I'm listening to, hey guys, Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Saul Fuentes.
Yeah.
Like in 3 tracks, I think. The first, like, I don't know, I think it's like first 3 you have like Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Saul Fuentes. Hey guys, Mr. Fuentes.
Mr. Fuentes, yeah. Yeah, my name is Mr. Fuentes, coming out of Rockport, Texas. That's something I learned from Tech 9 though. Like, I don't purposely do it, but it's become a habit at this point. I always put my name into my raps. Like, at least one verse out of all my songs, my name is normally going to be in that rap somewhere. When I do features, it's the same shit. I always make sure that my name's in the rap somewhere. Tech 9 says his name all the time in his music, and it's catchy. It's fun. I remember back in the day, I don't remember what I was watching, or if it was even an interview or just a track that I heard. But Mike Jones had always said, which, I mean, you don't really hear much about Mike Jones, but at a time when he did get popular, he had talked about his grandma saying you should always let everyone know who you are. Say your name, say your name a lot so people know who you are. Because I think that does happen too. You hear a track from a rapper or someone and you have no idea who that person is and you can't find the song or whatever. So always putting my name always gives me the chance that someone says, what was that guy's name? Oh yeah, Mr. Fuentes. Okay, I can look him up later. It always gives me the opportunity for people to find my music easier or know who's actually rapping in the verse.
Who? Mr. Fuentes. Who? Mr. Fuentes. Who?
Mr. Fuentes.
Who? Michael Jones. You're gonna put your phone number out?
361-55.
281-330-8004. I still remember that shit, man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, this one actually, the introduction for this song was whenever I had done the concert, this was like whenever I would do concert, this would be the first track that I played. So it would always kind of be like the, now we're introducing the amazing, the fabulous, the established. But then when I got down to like actually mixing it down to record, I was like, I kind of like this intro like a lot. Like it's really fun. So my idea was going to be that on the album, it was going to be Strange Voices. Then it was going to be the overture, not overture. Not the overture was the first one. Ostinato, that was supposed to be the middle one, and it was supposed to have 3 other rappers, kind of like the ending of the album, where it has the 3 rappers and then me. It was supposed to be very similar to that. So there's supposed to be a middle track with 3 other rappers, and then me, or yeah, something like that. So basically, whenever Opinions came on, it would be like me being reintroduced because there were so many other artists that weren't me in between the tracks that it'd be like I'm reintroducing myself again. But that middle part fell through with the features that I wanted, so I ended up taking it out. But then I also like, in my head, I think it's cool too because I get to do the no more introductions because like I feel like I'm not so far, but I'm like getting up there in the rap game that like I shouldn't have to keep introducing myself all the time. Like you should just know who I am when I start rapping or when I walk onto the stage. So it was kind of like a cocky little like fun. I don't believe that 100%. I will introduce myself all day long. But still, like I just thought it was a fun little cocky kind of jab to throw in there. Like no more introductions. You better know who I is when I speak of percussions. Like don't act like you don't know who I am. That's kind of like the idea of that. Which was, again, I just find it fun.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. You can stream Opinions right now on
can you
streaming platforms.
On streaming platforms for real?
Yeah.
Dang.
All you have to do is search up Mr. Fuentes anywhere you listen to music: Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, etc. And you can follow.
And you can find me on my social medias: Facebook, IG, TikTok, all at Mr. Fuentes 361.
Why'd you put AT and not the @ symbol?
I don't know, man.
That was written by Mr. Fuentes. But thank you for watching, listening, whatever. Follow me, Wrestling Tacos, anywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace, love.